but he maintains his unbeaten record, and it's a treble for Willie Mullins at Ruby Walsh.
See the Stars wins a fourth Guineas for Mick Cannan.
Hello, welcome to the greatest Cheltenham preview in the world, where three dashing young gentlemen try and sort out every single winner that you're going to find all week. We do apologise if the camera quality is a little bit poor, but it is pretty dark and we don't want to pay for any proper equipment. Anyway, that being said, we'll get straight into it. So with this video, we're going to go through the first day, ignoring the handicaps because we'll do them in another video. But we've got 5 races to look at here, starting with the Supreme. So I'll come to you, Ben, first. Who do you think's going to win it?
I think if you look at the form and, analyse the race, Appreciate It is the best horse in the race by miles. But saying that there, 7-year-olds don't have the greatest record in the race. What I will say is, though, I think over Christmas he was definitely very, very impressive. But at the same time, was the winning margin perhaps a bit exaggerated due to Ballyadam? I think he never really ran his race. And I think Gordon had come out and said after, we've had some problems in the yard at Christmas. But then he was much improved there at Dublin Racing Festival. I think he got within 3 lengths of him. But saying that there, I think Appreciate It was still well on top of the line. And I think Willie had said after the race, something along the lines of that wasn't his best showing. He knew the horse was far, far better at home. And I think I looked through the field and the Tolworth form isn't stacking up from anywhere. And I don't think Soaring Glory's up to Appreciate It standards Appreciate It. So in my eyes, there's only one winner, but it's probably not a race that I'm heavily invested in. I think it's probably more a watching brief.
I think. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I think Ballyadam's jumping would worry me quite a bit. He clattered the last at Dublin Racing Festival there back in February, and I think in the Royal Bond as well. I think his jumping wasn't overly great. Yes, he did win the Royal Bond, and fair play to the horse, but I just think there's only one winner, and I think Appreciate It's going to win this one.
I appreciate the confidence with the first race of the day. No, I think I agree with you essentially. We mentioned about the 7-year-olds having only won it twice in, I think it was the last 50 years. But then again, how many 7-year-olds first have run and second, the starting prices are probably a lot higher than something that you see this year. I think Ballyadam will get a little bit closer on better ground. But then again, maybe that's just clutching at straws. I can't really see much wrong with Appreciate It at the moment. Like you say, I think I saw the same quote somewhere where Willie said that he's not at the top of his game yet. He's still got improvement. If that's the case, I can't see much getting closer. Metier was another that I looked at, but the Tolworth form, I think it's pretty poor. The second, I think, went out and came 8th in a Grade 3 afterwards, and then I think the third would be a favourite as well the next time.
Yeah, in a Class 3, I think it was. Perhaps Class 3, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll pass this one straight over to you, Dan, because I completely agree with Ben that Appreciate It's probably the one.
Yeah, well, Appreciate's 3 and 3 over hurdles, and he's got 3 votes from 3 here, hasn't he? So maybe that's an omen. But I think he's the one to beat, isn't he? He wasn't the best, at the Dublin Racing Festival, but he still beat Ballyadam pretty comfortably. He never really looked like he was going to get beat. Had to make his own run in, really. He's got course form. Obviously, he was second in the bumper. He travelled well that day. So people saying he might get done for speed. I think the Supreme often turns into a more of a stamina test, really, doesn't it? So I don't think I'd be worried about that. I think he'll probably get a lead, but he'll be very close to the pace. Ballyadam, he travelled well, didn't he? He just didn't, you'd be surprised if he turned the form around with Appreciate It. He's a surefire each way player for, he's probably a lot better than most of these that are going to line up. And yeah, I just can't see him turning the form around with Appreciate It. The Real Deal, I'll just mention him quickly because I've seen this guy mentioned everywhere at the minute for an each way bet. I mean, people will look, at 16 to 1, whatever he is, you can't really tell people not to back it, but I couldn't have him in a month of Sundays. I just couldn't have that horse.
He's on a pretty good winning streak at the minute, and
yeah, he won't be winning this.
50-1, it's not going to put you off, is it?
Just for the record, he's trained about 20 miles from me,
Right.
Have you heard anything? Have we got an inside scoop?
You seen him galloping out?
I follow the owner on Twitter, and he seems to say that he's coming back into form this week, so that they are going to make the journey over.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, you have to.
Last week he was saying that they weren't coming over because he was having some problems in the yard again, and I think that's been rectified now. I think
good,
what I will just mention is I do agree with you there, Dan, about Appreciated with the stamina and stuff, because I think this at the start of the season, even though Appreciated won a 2 mile or maiden hurdle, I think this wasn't the plan. I'd say Willie's plan at the start of the season was
2 mile 4, yeah.
Yeah. And I think even at Christmas, if he got beat by Ballyadam, I think Willie would have went then to Ballymore, but I think the horse sort of took Willie by surprise. I think he blew him away.
Yeah.
I think that's what he said. Willie was I wasn't expecting him to do that there, so he's obviously proved to Willie that he's got the speed, and I don't think Willie Mullins would send him here if he didn't think he had a right good chance.
No, he wouldn't. I mean, he's certainly he's a 6-4 favourite for a reason, isn't he? He's got by far the best chance in the race. I just thought Blue Lord, if people are looking for an each way bet, I just thought how Blue Lord could be 2 points less than the Real Deal just blew my mind. I mean, I can't, Blue Lord against the Real Deal. I'd be having him lapping the Real Deal, because the grade 2 that the Real Deal won the last day at Punchestown, the form looks okay. Beat that Ganapathy, didn't he, by 3 lengths? But watch the race, man. Like, oh my word. He looked like he was going to get pulled up halfway round.
I think he opened 8-9 to 1 and went up to 22. So if they didn't fancy him that day, he couldn't have beat much.
And like the handicap,
the fancy not dead in Avon when they bet him into 20 to 1 into 6 to 4.
Oh yeah, they certainly did. Yeah, but the handicapper just he's given a rating of what is it, about 140. He said he ran to his mark. I mean, the others underperformed. There's no other way about it. They went too hard in front. He was off. He just way out of his comfort zone and just plodded on through every single other horse. I think if you listen to the trainer Roman McNally after the race, he even just said like he's just winner really, because we wasn't expecting him to win. He's just picked up the pieces, hasn't he? Couldn't have him. Blue Lord though at 14s, Dublin Racing Festival, he was held up, wasn't he? He ran on pretty well into third. I think he'd be ridden a little bit more prominently. They rode him behind that day because he needs to settle. I mean, he pulled the arms off of Paul Townend a couple of starts ago behind Bob Ollinger. Right, that one off. He did well to get as close as he did. I was loving him for the county, but he's that much of a good horse. I cannot see him going for that. They'll put him in this, and I'll be surprised. They'll get 5 places on the day. If he's around a double figure price, I'd be having a good bet on him each way. I've already bet him before at 14s, and I think that's a good price. I think he's half the price of that.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be betting him anti-post. He was beat by Appreciated and Ballyadam last time. Never really in touch with any of those.
No, he was never in the race.
Playing for third place if you look at that.
Yeah,
I think
unless one of the two underperforms,
That obviously there's every chance of that. Willie Mullins and short price favourites in the Supreme. I've not really got a good record.
No.
Biggest bet
of the year a couple of years ago was Get a Bird, and look how that one turned out.
Yeah.
I will just mention one more at a bigger price. I've had a small bet on Twiston Davis's Gowell Road, non-runner no bet. Obviously non-runner no bet. He's entered in the county and got a mark of 137, which I think is a bit too nice really. He won a pretty good Newbury novice hurdle. I thought it was a week or 2 ago now.
Yeah, he done well that day. He battled on well.
Yeah, I think what impressed me the most was that he was keen very early on, and by that point, leading off the front, you think it's just a moment until this horse sort of stops. He was challenged up the running and just powered clear, won by I think it was nearly 6 lengths in the end.
Yeah, I think
he's a good stayer, isn't he?
Yeah, I was quite impressed.
Sorry, go.
I was quite impressed with that day. Like I thought. Yeah, I sort of thought I thought he was going to get overtaken. I thought he was going to get overtaken, and sort of just ploughed on. I sort of took my eye a wee bit, but yeah, I think it's.
Yeah, I think that sort of grit, that attitude, is something that you look for in a Supreme horse. I mean, look at Somerville Boy a couple of years ago, coming from an absolute mile back, smashing the last fence and going through. But like you say, he probably goes to the county hurdle now, so that's probably a slip in the bin. Which is it's probably not the first one this year. Anyway, we'll move on, otherwise we'll be here all day. So we'll move on to the Arkle, which is the next one up. As usual, there's a couple at the top of the market. So we've got current anti-post favourite Shishkin, which is, I think he's just around odds on in most places now. And then you've got Energumene in at 9-4. These two have obviously powered clear of every single field that they've seen this year. Your third one in the market is All Mankind, who jumped absolutely terribly last time at 15-2. I think we all know what I'm going to put up, but I'll come to you first, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, Shishkin looks he looks out the top draw, doesn't he? Bang out the top draw, like unbeaten. Obviously, he'd probably have a very decent chance in a champion chase, wouldn't he? I don't think you could argue that. He's basically unbeaten in every race, unless he fell once, didn't he? When he was he odds on for a novice hurdle or something, and he fell. But
it's his first start, I think.
He's got obviously won the Supreme last year. He's got the festival form behind him. He's going to be very tough nut to crack. I think with the All Mankind thing, the jumping, he's going to jump better. He'll have to jump better around Cheltenham, but I think he will. I think that the ground at Warwick, I think that day was pretty testing. Dan Skelton said after the race.
It was, and Skelton said in the stable tour, he said that the ground was the reason that the horse didn't jump that day.
He had a hard race though.
As you wish. He did, and I
wouldn't be so keen on that.
Totally the ground.
No, I wouldn't be so keen on the race that he had. I thought he had. I watched it and thought, he's hit a few, he's clattered a few. He stays very well though. He's got a brilliant engine. I think he's the pace angle, isn't he? I think Energumene will probably be not too far off him, and I think Shishkin will sit off. Energumene's obviously very hard not to be impressed with him in Dublin. Absolutely cruised there. He just carried himself to the front, didn't he? And just absolutely battered him.
I think having those three horses, obviously they've had pretty easy races so far, so they've always found themselves towards the front. The one thing I did just notice with All Mankind was that when Sky Pirate got up behind him, that's when he seemed to jump poorly. So I think he's probably going to lead, but if he's got Energumene, Shishkin right on the back of him, it could cost him.
Oh yeah, he's got to get round, doesn't he? From the evidence we saw at Warwick, he's going to have to jump 10 times better because he won't get round. There's no way he'd be clattering fence at Cheltenham like that. He'd be coming down. There's no other way about it. He just won't get round. But I thought Captain Guinness. I mean, Shishkin's the one that I think the one to beat. I definitely think Shishkin is the one to beat here. I think he's a brilliant. I think the faster the race, the better for him. So I think the race is going to suit him very well. But Captain Guinness, I thought he could make the frame, for another each way price, if you like, against these favourites. He was slightly unlucky when he fell at the Dublin Racing Festival. He wouldn't have won.
Well.
He was. Yeah, he was good. He wouldn't have won, but he was definitely going to be second. And, the better ground will definitely suit him. The faster pace will definitely suit him. If he can jump, if he can just stay up, Captain Guinness the right chance in the frame.
He's had his problems this year, hasn't he?
He's very unlucky. He's a very unlucky horse. He got brought down the Supreme last year, didn't he, by that absolute crazy jobby steering for long, diving out of his right or whatever he was doing. But he won't be having that here, surely. I mean, if he can get round, he's a decent horse, isn't he? So, yeah, I could see him filling the frame definitely behind these boys. And I think Shishkin and Energumene, it's going to be a good battle, isn't it? But I think Shishkin might just have him.
I think with Captain Guinness, I'm going to completely disagree with both of you. I think, he was coming alongside Energumene when he fell. I think that was way too far out to tell anything. The time before that, he was beaten by 8.5, 9 lengths at Nass. I don't think he's going to be anywhere near these. I'm happy to be proved wrong because I really do like the horse.
Well, these could beat them by 25 lengths. If he gets third, you've got your place money, I guess. But these could be miles clear of these, couldn't they? These could be halfway around the track, and the others, All Mankind and Captain Guinness, could be scrapping out for third at the last. But
yeah, I think the only chance he'll have is that, we have seen it before with horses pushing forward, forcing a very strong pace. But the fact that you're going to have 3 of them up there this time rather than just one, I can see them pulling clear. I can see 20 lengths of distance. And if you want Captain Guinness in there third, I'll let you have it. But I don't think he'll do any better than that.
I'd be very surprised if he could beat the top 2. But
I'm going to say I don't have much to add because I think my notes sort of echo what Dan said there. Like, I think don't think I'm much more to add. I think. Well, Willie definitely did say that Energamine was going to be right up at the pace. So if you're right in what you're saying about when Sky Park came to All Mankind, he bustled a wee bit under pressure, so he mightn't get too far around the track if that's the case. Because I think these two horses are going to be on his tail the whole way around, and I think it's going to be.
Sorry, go. Yeah.
Sorry,
go ahead. Yeah, I was just reading something.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said you couldn't hear me. Then I was like, okay, maybe right. But yeah, I think I'm in the Shishkin camp. Yeah, I think the way he jumps. I watched something at the race last night from Mick Fitzgerald, and he had sort of said like, just watch the way this horse jumps. He's so quick, he's so nimble, and I think if they go that really, really fast pace, it's going to turn into a stamina test. And these two horses, Energamine and Shishkin, have both won a 2 mile 4, and I think they're going to be fighting it out at the finish. But for me, I think it's one of the races. It looks like to be one of the races of the week so far, and I think for me, Shishkin's going to come out on top. I don't think there's much more I can say.
Shishkin, Energamine, what do you reckon? Team England, Team Ireland, what are we? Are we all Team England?
Yeah, come on.
I'll give you this one.
Yeah, the only other thing I had down there was, Sky Pirate, I'm not even sure if he's going here now, but he was smashed by All Mankind, so there's no chance that he turns that around. And Franco Deport won't beat Energamine. But I think Shishkin will beat him all.
Yeah, but it's really weird with Thomas Sky Pirate because he looked set for the Grand Annual and then they've won out, run him again.
Yeah, they're going to regret that, aren't they?
I think in the long term they're going to regret that because he has no chance in the Arkle, let's be honest.
No, but I didn't see what his mark was for the Grand Annual. Is there a chance that he goes to the Marsh on the Thursday?
He's got an even tougher task of beating the other lad there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Not sure which one I'd fancy, to be honest. Just sit at home.
Right. Let's have a look. We'll skip over the Champion Hurdle for now. We'll come to that last. But next we'll go to what's probably going to be a pretty quick one in the Mares Hurdle. Personally, I've spent hours and hours, well, maybe an hour and a half or so, trying to get Concertiste to beat. Like I said to you guys the other night. In the end, I managed to come to the conclusion that she is the nap of the week. What do we think?
Yeah, I'd firmly agree with you. I think she's 5-4 time of recording, and let's be honest, what beats her? I think she's an improving mare all the time. She won the Mares Novice by 12 lengths, was it last year? And took me by surprise because I wasn't aware of the horse too much. I think this year she took me by surprise, to be honest. I was sort of thinking, you see some of these horses sometimes, the Mares Novice, and they win it, and you never hear them again. But this mare, she just keeps on improving, and I think the way she jumps and travels, and that last first time, the way after the last flight, the way she just pulled clear, she bounded further and further and further clear up the run. To be honest, I don't get this Roxana hype. I think the Skeleton should run her in the stairs. I think her best form was over 3 mile. She only won the Mares in 2019 because Benny fell at the last fence. And for me,
don't remind me.
Yeah, don't remember. I sort of regretted putting it in because it reminded me of myself as well because she let me down for a bag full, but it wasn't meant to be. but I think, albeit like Roxana's been impressive in her, I think it was 3 starts this year, but they've all been at 3 miles. I think at 2 mile 4, I think Concertista has a beaten over, and I think this is going to be a very comfortable success for Willie Mullins and Paul Townend.
Agree, Dan? Disagree?
Yeah, agree. Yeah, she's like you say, 5-4 at the minute. She's probably going to go odds on, isn't she? She's been very good this season, hasn't she? Obviously, since she won at Cheltenham, she's got a good record at Cheltenham as well. She has been very good, and she looks to be improving. And her form at the minute looks to be ahead of these. Obviously, Roxana is the one that is closest to her on form, but like you say, Ben, she's been improving at 3 miles this season, and I think the Skeleton said it'd have to be rattling quick for her to go to the stayers. It's not going to be quick enough, probably not, is it? And she's already been beaten by a couple of them at the top of the market, hasn't she? Paisley Park and Time Hill, so they can't see the reverse in the form with them two. So yeah, she should go for it. She's a previous winner of the race, but would I rather back Roxana at 3s or Concertista at 5-4? I'd rather back Concertista at 5-4 because she looks very, very solid, and she's probably at the minute, like I say, not a bad price, given that she's probably going to go odds on. Damned Company goes well at the course as well. I wouldn't rule her out fully. She obviously been chasing, didn't work out. She's come back. She won the Coral Cup last year, didn't she, in good style?
Yeah, I bet.
Over hurdles. Yeah, I mean, I didn't myself, but she won it. She won it nicely there. She'd come back to that sort of form, she'd have a chance in this for sure. But
there's a lot of money came for that day, and I sort of seen the McManus colours and
that's
and I
it.
was like, okay,
Jump
that's
on.
on.
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah, you wouldn't have gone far wrong getting on the McManus colours last year.
In the handicap, certainly not. But yeah, she needs to up her game against the top two. But back over hurdles could suit her, and she's 6-1. She's an each way price, but for me, Concertista, I'm going to stick with the favourite. I think she's very, very solid, and I think she'll win this. Yeah.
So I think if I'm not mistaken, Dame de Copan fell last time. No, is that right?
Yeah. Did she unseat or fall? Yeah, one of the two. But obviously, back on hurdles, I wouldn't imagine her doing that. So.
No, yeah.
No. I don't think
it's probably
fall,
always
but I think it's hard to back a horse after they've fallen going straight to Cheltenham.
Certainly, yeah. But
she's in a lot of support this week. She's rated £5 lower than Concertista, so she's on the ratings. It tells you that she's got a bit to find.
Yeah, that's it.
The rest of the race is going to cut up quite a lot. I was quite a fan of Roxana actually going over to the 3 miler in the Stayers. I don't really understand. Oh, excuse me. I don't really understand what the Skeltons were saying about the ground. I'm pretty sure she won over 3 miles at Ascot on soft.
Yeah, I think they think that she doesn't stay, does she, in the top level races? It's all right being Magical Eye, but you're different ball game, aren't you, when you come up against Time Hill and Paisley Park? Can she beat Paisley Park up the Cheltenham Hill? Not a chance. That's what they're looking at. She'd need to be on the snaff. She's never going to out battling. I mean, Paisley Park stays all day, doesn't he, up that hill? And if he's there with a chance, it's like the Altior thing, isn't it? If he's 2 lengths behind you, you'd be trying to get on Altior or trying to get on Paisley Park as quick as you can, thinking, yep, this is going to just zoom by. And if she won it on the snaff, she'd probably, obviously, then I think that's the best chance she's got. I can see why the Skeltons are going to do it, especially with this race cutting up as it will. I can definitely see why they're coming here. Because the thing is with Concertista, she does look nailed on. She'll run to a mark, that she's got now. But, if she underperforms, end of the day, what has Roxana got to beat? If she underperforms Concertista, Roxana will win that race, you would have thought, even though it's 2-4. It's just whether Concertista turns up on the day, runs to her level, she'll win probably. But if she doesn't, he's only got one to beat. In the Stayers, how many has he got to beat? Do you know what I mean? So he looks at it that way.
I think Concertista will improve from Christmas. I think she'll improve again. I think it was quite interesting to read what Willie said. I think they changed the way they trained her. I think.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he said that's right.
Before Cheltenham last year.
Yeah, that's right.
Mayor's Novice, they changed it and they kept the same way of going this year, and it seemed to work the treat because last year she couldn't even win in Ireland. Never mind win at Cheltenham, and now look, she's 5-4 favourite for the.
And she loves the course, doesn't she? So she's very, very solid. I think she'll win.
I actually forgot she was second. She was second the year before, wasn't she?
That's right. Was it Eglantine de Soy that beat her?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she was out the blue, wasn't she? It was her first ever run, wasn't it? Of hurdles or something.
61 or something, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she. Because it was funny actually because I literally looked at her that day and thought, first run of her, I'm thinking, whoa, what's going off here with Willie Mullins? What's he doing, putting her in this? But then
when played a blinder, didn't
when she was coming down, I was thinking, oh my God, no, she's going to win. I was thinking, I can't believe this. But no, thankfully, Eglantine de Soy came from nowhere, didn't she? And just and absolutely nabbed her. But she loves Cheltenham, and she'll win this. You would have thought.
Yeah, for me, she's the banker of day one, and probably the whole meeting.
Sorry, I was turned around looking at the door. No, I completely agree with you. I think she is the true banker of the day, and probably the horse that I'm going to lose all my money on, just like I did today. We'll move on to the National Hunt Chase. Of course, this is completely different to a normal year where we don't have the amateurs to tell us what to gamble on. So it's one of those races that I don't think I've ever backed the winner of. So I won't start with myself. All I'll say is I've backed Longhouse Poet. So if you're looking for one to avoid, I would go with that. I think he was pretty good at Punchestown. I think it was New Year's Eve, was it, or something?
I remember watching that race, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you had what was in second there? Run Wild Fred, who ran behind Cocoa Beach, who I really like. The next time, and then you had the Big Dog, was it? I think
Was
was
in
in
Yeah.
third that day, who then went and won a couple of weeks ago as well. So
Yeah, Big
I
Dog
mean,
won the Grand National Trail, or the Irish Grand National Trail
Hmm.
over here.
that's what it was. Yeah, and they were talking about whether he was going to come over here for the cross country, but I don't think they are.
No.
But yeah, no, I think it's impressive how he won because it was a big jump up in trip. I mean, he's run over further before, but coming back to this sort of distance, I think it really could sort of pull something out where you just don't find that with some of these runners. Galvin's up there in the market. He hasn't had a run since October, so I wouldn't be too keen on him. I think you've only had 2 of the last 12 winners had come here without a run. So it would be pretty impressive. Obviously, you've got Royal Pagile.
Who's the
However
winner?
I pronounce it. I would personally love to see him in the Gold Cup. I backed him in the Gold Cup. Non-runner, no bet. Luckily, it looked like he was going to go there for a long while. And I think the thing I saw, I don't know if it was Ruby that mentioned that Richie really, really wants a Gold Cup. It's the one thing that he's missing. At that point, I jumped on the Gold Cup bandwagon. But it doesn't look like it's going to turn out too well. But I can't really think of any other horse that the Richies would have for the Gold Cup. So I'm quite surprised that they're going to go there.
in the eyes of some on the racing media, they're going to win it next year. I think mine froze it.
Yeah.
They're going to win next year in the form of Monkfish.
They've already got the anti-post favourite for next year, haven't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I suppose so.
Whether they'd be banking on that, I'd highly doubt. But like you say, I mean, I would look at it. I mean, I'm not going to say a lot on this because I love Next Destination for this race, but he's not going to go. So I'm hearing he's going to go for the the Brown Advisory now to take on Monkfish, which is a brave decision because I thought he had a cracking chance in this. Thought his jumping suited the race. He stays very well, but the thing is with Raw Pagai, I looked at it with 2 things, thinking one, how much of a banker do they actually think he is in this race? They must think he is winning. He run backwards and win this race for him to put him in and leave a Gold Cup. 2, has Willie had a little word in Richie's ear and said, you're not going to beat Album Photo. So what's the point, mate? Win the National Hunt Chase because you're not going to beat Album. Has he? We don't know, but it's probably the former. Probably that they think we've got a festival winner. We're going to go for this race.
Yeah.
Ruby said go for this race. I think it's the right choice.
Yeah, I think they're saying, look, we've got a winner here. Let's put it in the bank on day one.
Yeah, I mean, what's he rated? 166. There's nothing anywhere near that. Galvin is the one that's closest, and like you said, he hasn't had a run. I don't think that would bother me myself. I think obviously, we're say trained by Gordon Elliott, it won't be now, but he basically has been this season. He'll be fit enough. He'll be fine. He has a good record at the festival. I don't see any problems with him. He's obviously on a good winning streak as well. Won impressively the last day. He's stepping up in trip again. It will probably suit. He's quite shrewd with this sort of stuff, isn't he, Gordon? He knows when to step him up in trip to get the best out of him. You could even see a career best performance. Now he steps up in trip. I think he's a threat, definitely, because I think he goes better on better ground as well. Roy Pagai's not going to get heavy ground here. He ran on heavy ground the last day. He ran on soft, heavy, soft. He's come from France, didn't he? So he's used to that sort of condition.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be steaming in at 7-4. Not in a race like this.
I think it's not a huge betting spectacle for me.
No.
I don't think. No.
But I certainly think that the Richies have gone and thought, 166. He should be running at a Gold Cup. He isn't. He should win this.
Yeah. I just want to mention one other price. I think Lord Royale. I think Willie Mullins thinks an awful lot of this horse, and I was reading Willie's stable earlier, and I think he said, he thinks that this horse has been quite unfortunate so far. I think when this horse first came to the track, I think he'd won by like 30 something lengths or something in the maiden hurl, and Willie sort of thought this horse was the real deal. But I think what Willie said earlier was like he came second to Eclerty to Sawyer, or no, I can't remember. Yeah, but Henry de Bromhead's horse, which is going for the Brown Advisory against
Cratteria.
Yeah, sorry, that's the one. Yeah, and I think he says, sorry, right there. His memory got me right. But yeah, And I think Lord Royale, I think he'll appreciate the step up in trip, and I think, to be honest, he could run into a place. But Royal Begal for me is the winner.
He's got to stay as well, Roy Pagay. We have to remember that as well.
Oh, yeah.
I know that the better ground is, if he does go on it, fine, then he's probably going to win. But he's got to stay as well. He hasn't stayed this trip before. He stayed very well, obviously. What was it, the Peter Marsh that he ran in the last day on heavy ground? You wouldn't have thought there'd be any problem. But yeah, the heavy ground thing just put me off a bit because I looked at his form. It's all on heavy conditions, good to soft. Look at Galvin's form. It's all on good to soft. That could bring them closer. And there's not loads between them. There's probably only 6 or 7 pounds. I know that is a lot, but when you look at the ground conditions, maybe that takes another £3 out of it. The step up in trip for Galvin could improve him more. There's a case, isn't there? But I don't think he's a 3-1 shot against a 7-4 shot with Roper Guy. The only time I'd back Galvin is if he was 5-1 or bigger. So, but obviously each way. But yeah, so.
Royal Pagay is won over 3 mile, 1.5 is the furthest he'll go. Do you think he's going to stay up that hill?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the heavy ground would that he won over in carrying that weight, and the Peter Marsh would lead you to believe he should stay fine. But
didn't look like he was stopping anyway. No,
it didn't at all. That's what I mean. He didn't get such a hard race. I mean, he's just very good, isn't he? Tanked. I was against him that day. I thought, oh no, surely not here, but. He absolutely battered them. It wasn't a great field. There were, a few boys in there, but this is going to be no different, really. But
yeah, he made a mockery of it, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he absolutely bolted up, didn't he? And the 166 is warranted for that win. Yeah, just like I say, the ground was the biggest thing for me. I'd be more worried about the ground than I would about him staying. Anyway.
Yeah, but for me, like it's not really a race I'm going to get too heavily involved in. But
no,
I think he's the most likely winner.
Yeah.
No. I think past the small bet I've had on Longhouse Poet each way, I don't think it's worth touching because if he does turn up there, he could easily rout him by 10, 20 lengths.
Yeah, that's it.
Possibly could even be one for the distance betting. I think there was one open that had furthest winner. That a lot of people are going for the cross country, but I think this could be the one, depending on the price. I haven't seen the market, but if you can get a price on that, this could be the one for that.
That's a shout.
Monkfish could be shot that one too.
Take your pick of Willie's horses of the week. A pretty good hand.
Just close your eyes and point on the page.
Right, last of all, we'll move on to the Champion Hurdle, sponsored this year by the Mayor's Allowance. Who do we think is going to win?
Go on ahead, Dan.
Are you sure?
Yeah, go.
I think I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. It's not hard. I mean, every time I look.
Okay, well, thanks for watching.
It's really hard, isn't it? Like, I'll just quickly run through a couple. The one I've backed is Honeysuckle. Because of a performance at Dublin. It was absolutely immense. I think if she puts up that performance, nothing's going to beat her here. I couldn't have Epatante myself. I just didn't like how she raced at Christmas. I know, I heard that she might have been in season and things, last year.
I think the last I heard there was issues with her back.
Right, well, all right, fair enough.
Whatever it was, she just didn't get going that day.
Yeah, I mean, last year I was all over her. Like, I thought, oh, what? She was like 7-2, thinking, how can this be 7-2, And she got well backed and bolted up, really, didn't she, But I just don't like her this season. I just don't know why. I've just gone off her. Honeysuckle for me, I thought she was brilliant. The ground is a bit of a worry, and the pace is a bit of a worry. Goshen, I couldn't have had him 2 weeks ago. Now, I still can't have him myself, but and I think he is short. He could even get shorter, given that there's a massive Goshen train, that's pulled out the station and making its way around the whole country and island. But everybody's
and it's going to end up in the Cotswold in about.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, look, he could go off like a train, couldn't he? And tear this blooming race apart. I think the pace is important for this because Honeysuckle was very good the last day. She was very quick. Her hurdling was absolutely mega. Like, she was a proper.
The best she's ever jumped.
Oh, she was magnificent, like brilliant. Just literally, you just thought nobody's beating this thing, is there? The ground was soft. It was pretty heavy, but like I say, that's the worry. Given that Goshen's in the race and he will make the pace, but if they force, he doesn't like. He's claustrophobic. So if they, couple of horses on his outside, he's not going to like it. He's one of them. He could win this by, he could be one of them blooming distance bets. He could win this by half the track, or he could be tailed off by halfway. He could just throw it in and say, I'm not bothering here. Yeah. Aspire Tower, very solid each way. I think he's a bit underrated, him, isn't he? He's one of them that could put it up to Goshen. He likes to lead. He almost has to lead to run well, Aspire Tower. And yeah, I mean,
agree.
Yeah, I'd be worried about him. Silver Streak's been up there, hasn't he? And he battered Epperton at Christmas, so for each way for him, definitely, he's got a good chance. Sharjah, if the ground comes up good, like good to soft, as they say. He was second last year. Patrick said he wanted the ride back, would have ridden him closer. He was right out the back, came through on the snaff, just couldn't catch Epperton, just had too much to do, didn't he? I don't think he would have beat it, but he had too much to do. Abacadabras, he's a bridal merchant, isn't he? But he could fill the places. The one I don't like that's getting backed is James de Belay. I can't have him. I just don't get it. I can't get my head around it.
I think that's just the Willie Mullins factor.
Yeah, and the handicapper gave him 167. I mean, what planet what is going off here with that? I mean, 167 means he wins. He's not winning this. He's not going to win it, is he? I just don't get it. The horses that have come over from France this year, except from Easy's Land, have been shocking. They've been awful. What have they done? They've been terrible. I can't believe how bad they were. That Paul Saga ran the other day. Oh my word! What happened there? The vibes on that were massive. They're saying David Cotan's going to bring over this massive battalion. You may as well not bother. Because it's like, what are they going to win?
I think there's only one of them. I read earlier that Ajas, whatever it is, it's actually not coming anymore. I think it's only going to be Easy Land coming over.
Oh, really? They were exercising a couple of days ago. I quite fancied Ajas.
I think he's a banker, Easy's Land. I don't see how he gets beat. We'll obviously come on to that later on.
I think he's 5-4 now.
I think he's an absolute cert. But anyway, this James de Belay, 167.
I think the trick that you're missing here with James de Belay.
He beat a horse in France.
Haven't noticed here.
Yeah, but he beat a horse in France.
1-2, 1-2, 1-2.
Yeah.
Where's he going to come next?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, that would be. I'll tell you what, Willie Mullins. I will fly over to Ireland, right, and kiss Willie Mullins' feet if he gets James de Belay to win this race. He gets it placed. If he gets this thing placed, that is a performance. What a performance, because they bought this for chasing. He's just said as well, I think, that it's his dark horse, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Come on, Willie.
Well, that'll half the price.
Yeah, but in my head, he must be seeing something at home. There must be something. He must be seeing
There must be, but I just, until he puts it on the track.
We don't know what it is, but there is also something there that he thinks, okay, we're going to run this in the Champion Hurdle on his first start for me.
I think he'd be a good chaser. I think they bought him for that, and I think he'd be a very nice chaser. He's a good prospect for that. But I just think, oh no, the pace is short. They go a married man's gallop around France. This pace with Goshen, no way. If this lad keeps up with this, out the back of the TV for me, and your slip's done after 7 furlongs, I think. But
yeah, I think you're right with Goshen. I think you're going to know by halfway round if Goshen wins or not.
It's probably going to be a snap on the snaff now. But
yeah, having backed Goshen for good money 6 months before the race last year, I won't touch him.
Yeah, I have him in a slip from the Friday of Cheltenham last March. I done some speculative anti-post bets, and if Goshen wins, by Allen and Paisley Park are within some tasty ones, so there'll be a bit of a sweat on. But
yeah, I'm the same. I've got Goshen. I literally backed it Gold Cup Day. I've got Goshen, Envoy Allen, Shishkin in a lucky 15 with Santini. So them 3 win, and I'm sitting on old slow boat.
I've got a slip for Shishkin as well. The problem with the slip that I hold on Shishkin is that it's for the Champion Hurdle. So that one's gone. I backed him for the Champion Hurdle the moment he crossed the line last year. 2 minutes later, on walks Nicky Henderson, says we're going chasing with him, and that was the end of that.
That's it. The shortest lived slip of all time.
I think that probably is the shortest live and slip that I've ever had, apart from maybe a greyhound.
2.5 minutes.
I think, yes, just questions to answer, but I think Epatante has a part to play in this race for sure, because I think the fighting fifth was mighty impressive. I know it was only School Royal she passed, but School Royal is a really, really solid performer over fences and hurdles, like, I think. And yes, your fighting fifth, she's beat fair and square, but I think there's a few problems there. And reading earlier, I think Nicky said they've now been ironed out. And I think after the fighting fifth, Darrell Jacob was quoted saying, I've never seen a horse go past me as fast as that in all my life. So I think she's got a big part to play, but Honeysuckle's the one for me. She's all class. She deserves to take a chance after winning back-to-back Irish Champion hurdles. Last year, I'm glad they didn't go for the Champion hurdle, because she only beat Darver Star and Petit Mouchoir. No disrespect to them horses, but she beat them, I think, by half a length. Yeah. But this year, it's a totally different proposition. She looks so good, and you know what? If these horses come up side to side with her jumping the last, she's going to fight it out, because once Benny made her challenge last year in the Mers, Honeysuckle grinded and just stuck in, and her attitude is impeccable.
Yeah, I think the thing that you're going to find towards the end of the champion hurdle, you're going to see this £7 allowance that the two mares are, of course, getting. It's massive. A lot of people have said we make the case to reduce it. Do we get rid of it in a championship race? But I think those two are going to come to the front. I love Epatante. I would love to see her win. I've had her in an anti-post slip for ages and ages now, probably March last year. And she didn't travel at all the last day. And I think we can, I don't want to say put a line for it, because of course it's her last run. But I don't think, whatever the problem was that they said with her, she had a problem. I think those two are going to be the ones at the front. The boys have got to do it all to beat them. The one horse that I do want to put up is Sharjah, as you previously mentioned. I think he'll go well at a price. They're going to run him a bit more prominently, and the thing with him is that he's come here and done it. The thing about you say championship races at Cheltenham, but any race really, is that if you've run at Cheltenham before, it's massive.
Oh yeah,
just getting up that hill, because it's so different.
Is Patrick Mullins the key to Sharjah?
I don't know.
He knows how to ride him, doesn't he?
Jockey dependent. He
does.
does.
I think it's in limbo whether Patrick's going to turn professional for this or not. I think he personally should, because he will have a good book of rides.
Yeah. He's got Kilcruit in the bumper, hasn't he, for a start? But
yeah.
He wouldn't be short, but I don't think it matters who rides Sharjah. I think the tactics are the main thing. If they ride him closer up, it feels like he's been around for years and years for some reason. But he could still improve.
That Matson hurdle keeps winning. Well, that bit 14 times, isn't he? He's only about 8.
Yeah, well, that's what surprised me the most, is that I was going through thinking, Sharjah's been around for years. But yeah, he's 8, and 16 to 1 I think you can get at the minute. I think it's a pretty good each way bet.
Yeah, definitely. I think the ground as well, Epatante, if there's a viable reason, excuse that you can write that last run off, she's got to have a big chance, especially with the way the ground's going to be. So,
massive.
And there's a good record, isn't there, where, previous winners at the festival come back the following year and they do pretty well. And obviously Epatante and Honeysuckle both won at last year's festival. So definitely the main two to focus on. But you've got to look at it as well that, we have these races where there's, like the Arkle with the top 2 there and the top 2 here. And you expect these battles, sometimes one of them underperforms, and there's a lot of each way players in here that you can get stuck into. If you really fancy one each way, you'll get 4 places, at least. You can get stuck into one here that, we've got festival form, like you said, Sharjah horses like that.
Sometimes I think you find races like this here, Goshen, Epatante, Honeysuckle, the big names at the top. One of them usually will underperform.
One of the 3 will. One of the 3 definitely will. And the most likely is Goshen. It's got to be, hasn't it?
Yeah,
it has to be. He's an
all
or nothing.
He has a really interesting angle into the race because, as we said before, he will get people out of their comfort zone. He'll get horses out of their comfort zone.
They cannot give him the run of the race. They cannot do that.
The tactics are going to be so interesting.
If he gets the run of the race, you're on. If you back Goshen at big prices and he gets the run of the race, you are on big time, because what he did in the Triumph last year, you can't forget. Obviously, tipped up, at the last, really unlucky, but you can't forget that. That performance had put him right there in this.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree. But yeah, I'll
Right.
still stick with Honeysuckle.
Definitely, yeah, me too.
Gun to the head, you're both going Honeysuckle, yeah?
Yeah.
Go on.
I can't disagree. I think Honeysuckle, if she keeps going as she has been, there's no chance that she gets beat. But then again, it's horse racing, so there's always a chance.
And
If that was the
different.
case, we'd all be millionaires.
Well, exactly. Just to be different, I'll go Sharjah 16-1. I think you've got a good each way play. If you can get 4 places, maybe even 5 on the day, he's definitely going to give you a run for his money. Whereas someone like Goshen, you could be beat by the time they get to the top of the hill.
Mm.
Well, I think that's just about everything. We've given out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 winners. So we might as well end it there. We've got another 3 days to cover. Looking at the time, we've been 46 minutes, so possibly we'll have to do 1 for each day rather than day 2 and 3 and 1 as we were gonna go for. And hopefully that'll be back on YouTube within a couple of days. Anything else to add, lads?
No, just say the 3 or 4 winners might be, James de Belay. What was that other one? The Real Deal. Lucky 15. Good laugh.
No, but it's been a pleasure. Really enjoyed it. I look forward to the next
Lovely
one.
stuff. We'll end it there and see you in a couple of days.